call the meeting to order and we can get started.
Okay.
Because I know we have a lot on the agenda, and we can knock up some things that people are sitting here for. How about that?
Okay, thank you.
Sure, and if it's okay with you, we can bump a couple things around. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so call this meeting to order and, roll call.
I'm texting Sarah. Mullendorf, not here. Burnfield, here. Graham,
Here.
Gunn,
Here.
Fordall,
Here.
Sarah, not here. Tupin.
Here.
Mike is here. Okay.
Okay, I guess, we have two board members that we think are on their way, hopefully.
Yes.
And so I would rather move over the consent agenda in the minutes.
Okay.
And- Oh, I'm sorry. Citizen comment on any matters within our jurisdiction that aren't on the agenda, if you would like to speak. Is there anyone here that would? On our agenda?
I have no problem.
Well, no, you can bring good news.
Well, I thought I would, if you wanted to hear about the observatory later, I could answer any questions.
Back of the room, any questions for us? Okay. So on the action items, I just would like to bump that for just right now. Okay, discussion items, B City, who is gonna?
Oh, I can read Courtney's email.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger said, I can just read it into the minutes. Okay. So this is from Courtney Long, because she was gonna come to the meeting last week, so I couldn't make it to this one. The All Nations Garden Club, which I am a member of, is partnering with the library to conduct a series of all the dirt garden-related talks. I was asked to lead one on pollinators and have been identified as the Bee City coordinator, which is a role I held when I began the Red Lodge Bee City initiative that ultimately led me to join the Parks Board before working at the city. Since the Bee City program is housed under the Parks Board, I want to continue to show my support of the program and its outreach and education endeavors required by the Xerces Society. When the city adopted the Bee City resolution, the Parks Board had two subcommittees for trails and trees and bees, in which the latter would manage the Tree City and Bee City programs. I think it's important that I step aside and allow for the Parks Board to identify a new champion of the Bee City program to work with city staff, Public Works, on any potential pollinator programs and the community on outreach opportunities. My affinity for pollinators is no secret, and I surely am not the best resource in the area, but please consider me always interested and willing to help whoever become acquainted with the program, coordinate and lead outreach opportunities, assist with reporting and volunteering resources as I am able. Thank you for all the work you are doing to care for Red Lodge's best features, its public lands and recreational opportunities. So I guess we just need to, someone needs to take on the Bee City.
Can you forward that to the board members?
It did.
I didn't see that.
It was pretty, it was like this afternoon.
Yeah, I got it.
3.
Okay, all right.
So I guess we don't have to, no one has to commit to that right now, but someone should be.
Do you think it'd have to be somebody from the Parks Board or,
No.
I don't think so, but Courtney seems to,
or the Garden Club?
yeah,
They're a pretty active bunch.
yeah. Maybe someone could do it from the garden club and just
I don't-
report to the Parks Board.
I don't see why it would need to be anyone on the Parks Board.
I don't either.
Unless someone wanted to do it.
Exactly.
But yes, I think we should kind of put it out there, to the groups that are, you know, affiliated and interested maybe.
Maybe we have an expert lying in wait.
There may be.
Yeah, it might just be a real simple outreach piece, like, hey, who loves bees?
Okay.
I do, but I'm terrified
So,
of that, so,
I can just reply to Courtney and,
I know it's
um,
very,
I can just,
bees will not bother you.
I can just reply to Courtney and ask her if she would want to keep doing it, or ask her if there's someone else on the garden club
Yeah.
that would want to do it.
I know Amy worked on it some, but
Might be
I
a,
don't know what she's
Unless
doing.
someone here really wants to.
just a case of having a chat with her, someone, so she can tell them, what the,
what it all entails.
Yeah,
She mentioned
exactly.
reporting, so that makes it sound like there's some work done.
Yeah,
Or does she maybe have someone to recommend,
Okay.
because she would have worked with people?
Okay.
It's a designation you have, so there is reporting in order to keep that designation, I think, is how it works. So,
Mhm.
I don't think it's a lot.
Yeah. So it's just like,
Yeah.
not just getting a badge and being like,
Right.
did it.
You have to keep it. You have to work to
Graduating
keep
from
it.
kindergarten and getting,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole thing.
Okay. So we'll
Is
find
that
out.
something the mayor was interested in, the former mayor? Rod? Is
pardon?
that something Kristen would be interested in? Didn't she help form that with Courtney?
Yeah, I don't know if she's not much of a gardener. I mean, so I can ask her,
Ask her.
yeah,
Or
I'll
she
ask
might know
her.
of somebody else that was involved in starting it.
Well, I can see Lindsay getting into it.
They would certainly know about bees, their applicants and their
Maybe
bees.
someone will inform you.
Well, we only allotted 5 minutes for
Okay,
that topic.
So we're gonna move on to Nick and BRTA about the pump track or miscellaneous BRTA for
Mm-hmm.
the next 10 if you need it.
Yeah. This is funny, Beth, this is exactly the same,
Oh,
like, build, so that's great, like, yeah, we kind of discussed this, like, the pump track at Coal Miners Park. I had corresponded with our volunteer Luke, who, could make the meeting, but, he's already done quite a bit, but let's see. So, like, the first thing, I guess, was that it's actually a smaller footprint than the existing pump track, what they've got here.
Mhm.
And I looked at this, like, Lee Likes Bikes website, and like the builds that they've been able to complete in, communities all over the place, like, look really, really cool. And it's nice because it's like so detailed. It's got everything, if you look at this where it's got distances and height and, it's pretty well written out to do it. So like, basically kind of like our impasse right now is just like the dirt. There's like a couple things. Like first, like maybe some diesel fuel I put in my request. Like, so what I see right now is like the total cost of this is like a $6,000 cost. But BRTA is definitely willing to contribute to it. I think we have $2,200 in our budget for next year. We have a weird fiscal year. Our fiscal year started at the beginning of April, but it's in our fiscal year currently. So, my request would be for $3,800 from the Parks Board starting next year. We wouldn't probably do anything on it until the beginning of July. I called and got a quote from Baldwin's, so we would need, so Luke is already filtered. He has like a dirt filter. He's already filtered a bunch of dirt. But we still need about 40 yards of clean fill dirt in order to build the track. And so through Baldwin's, and I reached out to Russ Purcell too, but he did not get back to me with a quote. But yeah, Baldwin's was $130 a yard plus a $930 delivery fee for 40 yards, so it was $5,200 for that. And then I also budgeted $500 for sign, which could be a little high, but like it would be good to have, it's like you would want to have a sign down, and I feel like at that main area saying like, hey, there's pump track up here.
Yeah.
So that was the ask for that, and then I wanted to revisit that feasibility study too for the Brewery Hill like pathway on Highway 78. I emailed Brandon Duffy at Great West, and he said, kind of like what I expected, that they have assisted a number of clients with successful transportation alternatives applications, which is like the Montana, the state of Montana, or I guess MDT, like, funding, I don't know what you call it, but that's where the money comes from, is the transportation alternatives budget. So, but yeah, he said it would be between, he couldn't give me a hard number, but he said between $6,500 and $10,000.
The feasibility study.
Yeah, for the feasibility study. And again, DRTA is like, we have budgeted $5,000 for the fiscal year to do this study. So I don't know if like a split would work or something. It would be wonderful if we all budgeted, for it to be $5,000 and it came in at $6,500, I think, you know, then you
Mhm.
come in under budget, that would be wonderful. Again, this would not be for you guys, it'd be for next year, the next fiscal year, wouldn't be something we would get started until
Yeah,
after.
and I thought about this after our last meeting. I really think this, it's not a park.
Yep, and
So it's out
we
of
were just talking
our
about that too.
wheelhouse. I think this is a city council topic, and I know that the mayor has some things moving on it. We obviously, in theory, support the trail coming down that and working with the DOT, but I think it's a bigger bureaucratic thing. So, yeah,
We did have a kind of impromptu meeting yesterday with the coal people that,
Yeah.
the cap on, they did the reparations for the flood where it kicked out, and they called, they were doing a tour and looking at that, they had the muckety mucks up here. They went up there and they readdressed, 'cause I think in 2017, they said they looked at recapping part of that, the project, but it became too expensive,
recapping what?
where the coal's leaking out of the hill, like where the
Oh,
trail's
okay,
at,
so
where the
that's
school.
what I started to tell you, and then when Roger and I met.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're talking pump track.
Yep.
All right,
and that, all that kind of came up yesterday as,
with whom?
it's with the DEQ, their coal, whatever, management
Right,
division.
the abandoned,
And they're basically looking for some projects right now.
can you
And-
believe this?
Now that you're done.
Well,
Okay, so the other 45-second story is soccer had been wanting to put a field up there forever and ever. The DEQ approached us in 2016 and was very interested in capping the whole coal miners area again, because they were really concerned about the edges, not so much the top,
mhm.
where the field was, but where the trail is cut in and then the backside. And so we spent 3 years of design, and they crammed a RFP out, and it came in higher than they thought, and they walked.
Yeah, they
So-
didn't have the money, but they're
But,
re-looking at it now.
okay,
They're back.
so what we did find in all of that, after they bailed on Stalker's project, was that they could find no documents between the city and the DEQ that require the city to work with the DEQ on that. Like, we don't have to
Project
seek,
manager died, remember?
No, I-
Pardon?
The project manager died in the middle of all of that. I remember.
the
that.
project manager went away. No, didn't die, she left the job.
Oh.
There might have been somebody else,
Somebody
I
else.
didn't know, but that's not what happened to it. They walked you.
No, they're not coming in and saying that, I mean, they're asking us if we have any interest in,
Oh,
they're looking for new projects.
okay,
And, you know, they identified, like, trying to make the trail less of a avenue for coal to run off, and more towards where the school was built,
yep,
and then on the side towards the creek, and then some projects associated more specifically with the wildlife sanctuary on their side.
okay.
So
So it wouldn't, I don't think it would impact the pump track up on
I
top.
think,
Oh, the
I
bike
just
part of it
think
on the
that-
side.
Yeah, it's and
moving forward, I think there could be a conscious effort to maintain what thin layer
yeah.
of cap there is up there. And
Not go digging
there's
into
a
it.
spot there where it got dug into, and you can see, it's pretty,
Well, the whole bike side, you know, the switchback is all right
it's all
down the
cool.
Mhm.
And I think they don't know what they're doing really. They came and looked, they're interested. I just don't think it's gonna happen overnight. It certainly isn't anything that's gonna be forced upon us.
Okay,
But
so
I
Mike,
just
would
wanted
you
to
include,
get that
if they
out.
come again or have a conversation, could you let me know?
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
just love to listen in on that.
No, it was
Okay.
very impromptu.
Yeah,
Like, I got a call, and they were up there.
who was project manager?
What's that?
What was the guy's name, the project manager?
There was 3 Johns there.
Yeah.
And then there's another engineer that's working with the sanctuary. I have his card. I didn't get the other guy's cards, but I have their email stuff.
Okay.
So the pump track was gonna be, there was like just a real simple little pump track there. And
rudimentary, let's call it.
Mhm.
And then it got covered over with weeds and grass and everything. And as part of that DEQ project where they're gonna redo the whole top, they had offered to rebuild that. And that's
Oh, wow.
where we got that design,
Oh, cool.
but they walked from all that.
Yeah.
And obviously with the money we put on the soccer field, we don't want them to do anything on top.
No, I don't, I
No.
think they're more looking
Side.
at
Yeah,
the areas where they're seeing
exposure,
coals getting washed out.
they mentioned the berm from the school at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they kind of focused on the trail, the zigzag stuff, some of the drainage that goes down through the sanctuary, just trying to divert it around. We talked a lot about drainage in that parking lot, which is horrific.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the easiest part to solve with that whole equation, but, and they talked a lot about that whole exposed side school on the south.
So we just
So
probably
just
need to revisit this again.
food for thought,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I think Luke is gonna continue doing it, it's just, you know, we
There's
would
not
really
much
like-
up there, except somebody did put a pile. There's a pile
Yeah.
of soil, yeah.
And he's got, I mean, like, the nice thing is he's really motivated. I mean, he's got access to a skid steer and a mechanical tamper, you know, I mean, he's like pretty gung ho. He just, like, really all he needs is like, you know, dirt is it. And then he's like, oh, let me do it, turn me loose, you know?
Yeah.
He asked if maybe like, when they were doing the build, if like the city could provide any type of like, you know, water to just dampen it, you know, so that like, as you know, kind of, you know, compact it, and it like compacts better, and it turns into like really, really hard dirt so that it doesn't erode away every time it rains, and so you have to make really, really sure about that, so.
So do we need to have any sort of motion to include that in the public works part?
Say that again, please.
A motion to include,
I think that we'd like to be involved when they're doing it, just
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
help protect the cap that's up there, and we can assist where we can, if we can.
Is there money, that 3,800 that
Yeah.
Nick requested in your budget?
right,
I haven't gone, as far as next year, I haven't got that done yet. As far as this year, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out.
but this
I
would
thought
be
the
for
meeting was
next year.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, this would be for
I didn't do
next
my
year.
homework, so.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
this would be next year.
yeah, would you be in for next year?
Our next year, but that could be July.
Yep, yep,
So,
Mhm.
could we table till June?
sure.
Okay,
I
for a
would-
vote.
I would say for the feasibility study, I guess I don't know where our jurisdiction ends, but we're the Parks, Trees, and Recreation Board, and if we can help in any way with the trail on 78, I would be all for it, because
I
that's
thought
how
we
we,
agreed
Yeah.
to spend the money.
well, we didn't know, I mean, we don't
Yeah, it
know
was
about
like, we
the
just had
amount
like
of money.
a rough
yet, but-
estimate, which it's still,
No, we
Fairly
didn't
rough, but-
make a motion about that.
and I mean,
Yeah,
I understand
I
it,
think that's a city, that's
Well,
right
it's just
away.
a recommendation from us.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, end of the day, that would probably end up in the Public Works Department.
Right.
And so again, things overlap, and
And so, but we could recommend that some of our budget be used for the feasibility study, or we don't think we should do that?
Well,
Because it's not really.
personally, we haven't worked on next year's budget together.
But we still have money this year, don't we?
Just,
I don't know.
I'm gonna have
I
it,
think
yeah,
that's what
on
he's getting
Friday.
the work done.
That's what he's saying, he's working on it, so
Yeah,
that's
and
why I say.
I meant to have it for this meeting, and I was gonna do it tomorrow, because I thought tomorrow was the meeting. And
But
I
that's
realized
for-
at 5:15
that's for
the
next-
meeting
that's
was.
It'd be
for
next year, but,
So maybe we
you
can
know,
table that for.
my only thing is like, just, you know, like, and this obviously isn't like, you know, you guys, not a whole lot you can do, but just like the timeline of it, where I'm like, well, you know, like the application period for the transportation alternatives opens in 2025, and then if we, you know, if it's like, it takes forever to get, you know, just a contract set up with Great West, then like, you know, we could totally watch this window get closed and
Right.
not get
When's the
anywhere.
window closed to have the feasibility study done, so you can. apply?
Like, it would be, I think ideally, it would be great to have it done by the end of this year, like have it completed by this year, so.
By
By like the calendar year.
Oh,
So,
I think that's.
so we've
That's
already,
doable, okay.
we've already kind of given the go-ahead several months ago about the pump track, you know,
Yep.
last summer to be revitalized. And so I guess all I'm doing is saying if we could defer give Mike a little bit longer
Yeah.
to see what's in the budget, and, because we have an
You
early
might be able
June
to do it
thing, we
this
could
year.
probably, we're gonna give money towards the soil, we could decide whether that's this year or July 1,
Mm-hmm.
and make a commitment to you,
Okay.
Nick.
And you talked to, what's her name's out there, the gravel pit, and they didn't get back to you?
Yeah, I texted Russ and he was like, let me get back to you, and then I texted him. But that's kind of how, at least my experience with him goes.
So, we're gonna be getting gravel out there next week.
Yeah,
I might just see what
Yeah,
he's
I mean-
got, he might have a
He thought
little
we've been
better
really
price.
good with BRTA, I'm surprised.
yeah, he's kind of our guy, and that's why, like, I
Yeah.
called Baldwin's and they just called me back, you know, I was able to speak with them quickly, and so that's how I got their estimate, but, I mean, I imagine that Purcell would be a little less expensive, so that would be huge.
Yep.
You know,
And
we
you're
could
just
shave a
looking
little,
for
just, you know, clean filter, basically,
Clean.
but it's gotta be filtered, you know,
Doesn't
can't
have to be
be.
topsoil.
screen.
Yeah, screen dirt, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, like, we could screen it, Luke's like, we could, if it helps make it cheaper, we could screen it, but then, you know, then it becomes like a, you know, then I'm worried, well, like, how long does it take him to screen this dirt in order to get it up there, you know, then it could become like, drag on forever, and then, the final question I had is, like, I have this, check that was for the weed sprayers, and you guys had approved, this was from last year, that they, BRTA purchased weed sprayers to spray weeds on, like, city trails. Who do I submit that to for reimbursement?
You
Like,
can give it to me.
okay. I was like, we have all these things, I was like, wait a second, I actually don't know how to.
You guys
submit stuff to
generated that,
reimburse it.
so you probably already know that, but that's my
Yeah.
understanding, what you guys would use with Russ on like the trail, the
Yep, totally,
conference trails
yep,
and
this is
everything.
it, yep.
I don't, is there something similar like that that would be used on the pump track?
No, so like the pump track can't use that, like, you know, the kind of road mix or the bentonite mix, because it's like, it needs to be just like totally dirt, you know,
Okay.
so that it,
Gotcha.
like I thought, I was like, oh, I could maybe, if I could get on a computer, I could show you guys what they look like somewhere else, but it's like, imagine just like, you know, dirt that almost looks like set up like concrete, like imagine if the skate park was like built out of dirt, you know, like something like that is kind of what it looks like, so that you can,
So it's more of a clay.
yeah, it sets up like really, really like firm, yeah, and then you can just, you know, ride your bike on it and stuff, but, yeah, like that, I mean,
And the big thing is it'll need to be sprayed periodically, because, you know,
yeah,
one now has just got 2 feet, 2-foot high grass on it.
Yeah, get all the
Good for
grass
your
out of there.
pollinators.
Good to the
and like, you know, Luke, I mean, if nothing else, Luke was like, well, you know, just like some diesel for the equipment operation would be great, because he's like, so far, he's just been working up there, and paying out of his pocket to get this going, so.
So,
He's like a pretty, yeah, he's like a pretty stellar volunteer.
so Nick, if you wanted, so basically, if we were to put something on the agenda for next month, it would be a request for assistance
38.
for $3,800
Yep.
pump track.
Yep,
And I think we need to talk about the feasibility study again. I mean, we're in support, but I do think it's, you know, we certainly can give a recommendation.
Sure.
yeah,
But
and I,
It's such a bigger, governmental thing that I.
Feels a little outside your scope.
yeah, and I.
The recommendations of Public Works Department, and that's something that maybe
Yeah,
we're
we're
looking
in
at.
favor of it, we
We need
can,
to
we can put that
Yeah.
forward.
not
So-
do like we did with the ADF grant, get everybody
Yeah.
on board first.
Is that gonna be like a huge culvert that's gonna need to come down there? Because that's gonna have to be filled in.
It would depend,
We're talking on that north side?
the north side, yeah, correct.
Okay.
You know, it's like, and that's really like, a lot of this is like, it's just purely me conjecturing, because like the feasibility study would be like, well, this is what, you know, like you could
Right.
do this, or you could do this, or option A, B, C, and D, and the widths and the heights, but I mean, you could make a raised, you know, boardwalk that goes out above, you know, you could do
Oh,
anything, you
Yeah,
know,
I
like,
gotcha. Okay.
that like fits, but like, that's what we need to find out, is like, what is the best way to do this?
Yep. And
Do we need an easement from the priest? Do we
Yeah.
need, you know, will it work if it goes
And-
right along the roadway, you know?
can we leave a lot of trees?
Yeah, exactly, like, yeah,
Yeah,
trees
people don't-
and
You know, people need.
drainage
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
you know, all the state of Montana said was like, we can't narrow the road, you know, and like,
Mhm.
That's, you know, and that's about it, like, they were kind of, and it can't affect their drainage, and,
Mm.
but they were like, other than that, it's fine, but you know, obviously, it's pretty swampy there on that one
Yeah,
section,
that's
so,
really interesting.
Yeah.
you know, they were kind of like, oh yeah, you could build a raised, you know, there could be, it could be like a pathway that
Yeah.
then turns into a boardwalk to keep the grade down,
Yeah.
to keep it ADA compliant, and then it can continue into a pathway again, you know, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, like, it's a pretty sweet program that they have, and the guy said, I mean, yeah, again, you know, like, if you needed an easement, the transportation alternative would pay for the easement, we just had to get something in writing, so, but like, again, I don't, you know, like, their kind of, their sentiment was like, anything can be engineered, it just needs to be, like, someone needs to go out and do the engineering feasibility study to see what actually needs to be engineered to complete the project,
Does it have to be
So is there-
ADA compliant?
Doesn't, yeah, I mean, in theory, yes, there was like some discussion on that call about, like,
That was the hitch the first time, right?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first time.
and it's like typically with like the federal money, then it needs to be ADA compliant, but they said that there was like some kind of like wiggle room about how, if it's like a pathway adjacent to an existing roadway, that like they can kind of fudge it and it can be steeper.
Really?
It's not a sidewalk, it's a trail.
Yeah.
Call it a trail and
Approaching
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something like that,
It'd be
and,
a trail.
cause they mentioned this program, or this, project in Billings that's gonna go up Zimmerman, you know, like,
Oh, wow.
there's like, they're building this trail now up there, and it's part of this transportation alternative project from like recent, like
Yeah,
a
and
previous
that's probably not
application.
ADA anything.
And they were like, yeah, like, the guy from the state was like, there's no way that, like, that is definitely not 5% grade, like, he's like, I actually have some concerns about that project, but like, it's happening, you know, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Part of
so,
the trail net.
but like, that's where, again, like, it would just, like, part of this due diligence is just making sure that when we, you know, when the city, I guess the city has to apply for this trail, or transportation alternatives funding, that they have like all of the details
Uh-huh.
down from this feasibility study. And again, Great West, you know, like, the state told me this, the Great West has confirmed it, that they have been the feasibility engineering firm on like a bunch of these successful applications, so they know what to look for, like, you know, they can help kind of tailor what they're looking at in order to like, you know, help us, you know, be more successful, so.
Great.
So knowing what we know, what Nick shared, is there a benefit to us, money aside, just as a Parks Board,
Mhm.
Recreation, just saying we're in favor of this officially so that you could present that and back it up with support? I don't know, I'm
I
just,
think that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, even just
Yeah.
like a, letter of
Yeah,
support
letter of
would
support.
be
Yeah.
amazing.
Good. Yeah.
And it's something that can get presented to council, and like, that's something, if letter of support comes to me, then I can make that presentation and that bit. 'Cause I mean, I don't think it's gonna be hard to sway folks on a path going up Brewery Hill.
Right.
And
You can put it on the Public
spending
Works Committee agenda.
$5,000 or
Yeah,
$6,000
yeah.
towards the
Just put it on
feasibility
there, and then
study?
it'll come
Yeah.
to the
Kinda what
council
Russ
that
said,
way.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Don't park.
No, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't know where that comes from. It's
I don't, yeah.
Do we need to vote on that or anything?
Wait, Teresa
Yeah.
has a.
Just a bit of information. So, one of the conditions of the approval of Alpine Basin was that they would contribute to that.
Mhm.
So you don't want
Yeah.
to forget that bit of information.
Oh, yeah. Someone was gonna look at their,
Hold together.
the
so.
mayor said he was gonna look
He
at
had,
their.
he said that to me a number of times, and I have not seen it, so like, I think that is,
I could probably pull the meeting that was said, because that was
It's
planning board
recorded.
meeting.
Yeah.
And it was
Brian
not so
might
much
know.
that he would contribute financially to it, it's that he would allow for an easement.
Yeah.
on their portion.
Well, but
They
I
don't come all
thought,
the
you
way
know,
down.
from
No.
Lazy Street, you know, 'cause the
Mhm.
trail stops there, and then what I had heard was from Lazy Street down to their entrance,
Yeah.
but not beyond there. I
well,
don't know.
there's like, but they
Yeah,
don't
Kelsey,
only,
you can look for what it actually says.
I can find that somewhere.
Courtney Long was the sitting
Yeah.
zoning person too, and she is the one that came and said that the only condition they had something to do with trail, but
Yeah.
there was no mapping, there wasn't
It was supposed
anything.
to be just like, it was talked about as like a partnership. It was-
Essentially,
Yeah.
what he said he would do is that he would be willing to put in an easement in the time that that were to actually happen, but he was not willing to do it until they actually had plans to do
Right.
so.
And I've emailed him to see, I was like, what about a pathway that just connects from Alpine Basin to, Lazy M Street? Because all those people live there and they're like,
Yeah.
a couple blocks away from like this huge network of trails that they can't get to, and he was like, well, he said that, and he's right, that there is private land between there, so there's not really anything he can do. But he was like, yeah, in the future, if there's anything down Highway 78, like, I'm totally in support, like, let me know how I can help. But I feel like there's been I've heard a lot of people say that there was some sort of condition, but it's like one of those things that I haven't actually seen it in writing on the record to see exactly what it says, and so.
I think we should put on like a 20-minute discussion about Brewery Hill for next month. Yeah.
Well, and I think if we bring it to the Public Works Committee,
Okay.
and then from there, it will get to the council, and then I think that's kind of the goal, is to,
Who's the Public Works Committee?
he's on.
Oh,
So, we'll
I didn't
put
know
it,
we had one.
well,
Okay.
that sound good to you?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So do we need a vote, or can we just do a letter of support, or how do we do that?
I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to vote
Yeah.
that the council, this board supports it, and then drafting up that letter of support, and then that's something I can present to Public Works.
So Beth, are you suggesting we do that next time because there's more discussion needed, or?
Well, I don't think we're in a position to push Mike about budget until.
Not, yeah, money aside.
Okay, money
for-
aside.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Stuff we're
certainly,
saying.
I make a motion that Park Board supports, the RTA and Red Lodge looking at a trail down Brewery Hill.
Maybe feasibility study.
Second, or whatever we're supposed to say.
Okay, all right, so, Mike, you have Parks Work update and budget update, and we have down for,
Do you want to vote on this first?
sorry.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
we have a motion,
Aye.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Sorry.
I should have one more quick thing.
Yeah.
And this probably is for you, Mike. Was curious, we have some like those wayfinding signs that like just say trail on them. And, I was on the McGillen Trail on, McGillen and 15th right there. Is there any way that we could get like one of those wayfinding signs, like a post installed for that kind of like
I think
points towards the trail there?
I think we're gonna try and put a post up there for, the guy that lives there asked for something there, I think a dead end sign or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We could put
Put it right on there.
Post and you put that on that.
That'd be killer, okay.
Double
I'm
team.
glad you brought that up, because I have a question.
What, if you, sometime next week or something,
Mhm.
just get ahold of me and we'll run up there and look at it.
Yeah.
And get on the same page.
I think it was before you took your position, the RTA talked about redoing the sign at the bottom of Coal Miners. When you mentioned a sign that says, okay, there's a pump track up there, that sign at the bottom needs to be redone, because the false locations have changed. We now have a soccer field up there. And we could add the pump track. There's a big wooden sign at the bottom of the stairs. I don't think that should fall on them financially, but I heard that we would be getting, like a design or something from BRTA.
Mhm.
You know anything?
I've not heard anything about that, but that doesn't surprise me.
Is it worth trying to tie it with all the wayfinding signs and have it look the same?
It could be, I think it would probably be more of like a map, like a map type, kind of, right? 'Cause it's like
kinda
more of a map.
Yeah, it's a little different than a wayfinding sign. It
Yeah.
probably could even be done cheaper than if you tried to do that
Yeah.
with a wayfinding sign.
You wouldn't have to make them as thick.
Yeah, I think,
Signs are
I think
huge.
Tom Foley is kind of the one who has or has done previously like the,
Can you ask him if
RGIS,
he's working
yeah.
on that? Or if
I'm
it's
sure he's not, but,
not, okay. So
but I
that
can
does need to be
see if I can
done.
find
This
it, or,
would be a good time to think about that, because it needs to be, it's not correct any longer.
yeah. And I asked him recently, like, I met with Grant Barnard about, because you guys had approved money for the two signs, like the little kiosk signs, like one at the gazebo, one at the bottom of McGillen. And we went, like, the little maps, like, the one at the top's like totally fallen off of its
Mhm.
staples, and And I asked Tom about that, and he was like, oh yeah, I can get you that map, like, it's on the ArcGIS, you know, that's where I built it, and I can get that. So I think that's where he built the other one too, but,
Yeah, his name's posted up on that.
yeah. Especially in the upper one, it's like, ERG would like to thank Tom Foley.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Nick. All right. You have the floor, Mike,
Okay,
with park work update.
well,
I don't know
I
what,
didn't do all my homework, so, but,
My fault.
That's
Wrong
okay.
day on the agenda.
I'll just kind of start with, I know we're gonna get to some of this later, but, in terms of the ADF project, trees are all ordered, and they should be here by May 15th for that, so we got that done. I've been working with Roger some on placement of the trees. I know other people have been doing all the kind of
Yeah,
nuts
but he
and
says
bolts of it.
some, and they've been doing a lot of hard work, so
Yeah.
don't underestimate. Putting all the stakes in and being
Yeah,
very
so we do
strategic
have-
about where things
What's
are
it's
going.
been a
and
struggle
Sarah, you're gonna
with-
talk about that.
Yeah, I have to
On
leave
the
at
Arbor Day.
6:30, so I probably will not be here for that discussion.
I'm hoping we get the money for that before the 15th. It sounds like we will. We got porta potties pretty much everywhere now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, that's easy peasy. Baseball guys, we got them, their netting and their gates. I know the gates are up. I don't know what the netting is. We got them some paint, and then they painted the dugouts and some other stuff, but I think they're still working on that. Bart went in and fixed the wiring at the ball fields. We brought in 2 loads infill sand for one of the infields to try and get it where it will drain water. And
Are you guys the ones that regraded and fixed the road up to the soccer field?
they worked on it. I'm not sure they fixed it.
Yeah, well, it looks better.
It's better.
And
It's a mess right now because
okay,
of the rain.
yeah, but, all right, so you did.
Yeah,
okay.
we bladed that off. We're gonna try to figure out a way to kind of cap that a little bit. It's just so steep.
Well,
And,
it's also taking all the drainage off the berm from the school.
and I think might try and put in like a water bar, a couple places where it'll get the water to the side, at least so it doesn't come right down the road. I've got, some sealer for the skate park ordered. I talked to the skate park people, Evergreen. It sounds pretty straightforward. I think we can just put that on. We don't have to hire anybody. It's about $2,300 for the sealer. The guy's scheduled to do the playground equipment in the park in May, but our May's not looking really good so far.
Liz Trail's person is scheduled,
Yeah.
as weather allows.
Looks like you got some sand on the bridge into the dog park.
Oh, did Willie
Looks
do that?
better,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Not as, divoted.
I did talk to, I dug around a little bit on the skate park and, it was kind of funny because Rob, in Public Works, he's like, well, could we use those blocks like at the bank? So I looked and I was out at Baldwin's and they have a whole bunch, so I asked him about it. And evidently Jim Bushnell had talked to them about building a wall there with those blocks.
The owner,
What's that?
the owners?
Talk to Baldwin.
Jim
Oh,
Bushnell.
the Baldwins.
Talked to Baldwin's
Okay.
about building a wall there. And so they dug out what they had, and it wasn't really in line with what I got the impression you guys were thinking about.
Those blocks would be great if they're down.
Yeah, they
at
were
the church.
having them stacked really high, so I met with Denise, and she redid the design where I said, like, we wanna just keep it, kind of follow the contour.
But down at the, like, not right next, my only thing was not having them right next to the turf there at the concrete, like having them down at the bottom of the sand.
They gotta be right at the turf. The turf
That's the
right to the
property line.
Yeah,
property
but that's
line.
why I was thinking we could talk to the property
And
owner.
I've
because we
tried
don't
getting
want-
hold of
We don't
them,
want
and
people
I'm
skating
gonna-
out of the bowl and slamming into
I'm
the
gonna keep
wall.
after them, but they've yet to return any of my
Yeah.
calls, so. But I think it's gonna have to be right there. It's just, I mean, the concrete's almost over the property line. It's like that far in that one spot. So Denise is gonna put together a new cost.
Do we have recycled tires,
I was just
Tire
thinking that,
wall.
Beth, yeah.
like, you know, she's talking about her, you know, children that use it all the time, you'd go flying off there. Well, they don't really go over there, do they? They do?
Well, people will skate it if you put it right there. I mean, people will skate it no matter where it is, but if it's right there, people are
But they
gonna.
have to be skating on that green turf.
But they come out of the park, like,
Let's
Fly- fly over the
turtles that
Yeah.
wide on one spot right
yeah.
there. It's right.
I don't know, it seems pretty dangerous.
So pending,
Yeah.
okay?
So
But that's-
we're still,
but that's
I'm
great
still,
that they're
still trying to
that
figure
option.
something out there, and we won't, I mean, we'll get,
I know
I'll
somebody
get
who
a
can
new
probably
plan.
get him to answer a phone call.
The guy that owns it. I'll try him again.
Okay.
Now I'll get in touch with you if I get in a dry hole on that one.
No, I tried calling a couple of years ago and didn't hear back from you there.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing a couple other
So,
things.
Mike, would you mind if we bumped, Sarah Thorson up
I
on
think I'm
Arbor Day?
done
'Cause
anyway.
she's gotta leave in 15 minutes, and I think we need to hear some.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanna hear what you.
Yeah, so
Then
Rod,
we'll come back.
are you done, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. Rod, Mary Dell, and Roger and I met last week, and, yeah, you guys have done some amazing work, with Mike Taylor too, in staking and just determining where the trees and which trees will go. So they have a really good setup for the day of, where it'll be really easy to know which trees go in which holes. All the holes will be pre-dug.
Hopefully all the holes.
What?
Hopefully all the holes.
Okay,
We can't
almost
get
all of
machines
them,
to
right?
a hole. I'm trying to encourage planning where we can get a machine too, so.
Okay,
Okay,
which would be amazing, yeah, that would be so cool.
it would be.
And then the trees will be delivered to the specific planting sites for the publicly planted trees. And Roger was gonna do some work in just finalizing and finessing the number of volunteers needed, for that. I'm creating an Eventbrite, link that will be built into Facebook so volunteers can sign up. They will have to sign a waiver through ADF. So there will be a link to that, which will also, function as sort of our, volunteer manifest, if you will. We need to touch base on that other piece too,
Yeah,
for
we
the
just
insurance.
need a roster the day of,
Okay,
like if everybody meets Rotary Park, and I can get a template from MMI, but it'll just be a roster, they'll need to sign it. with their-
and they actually have a pen signature. Okay.
And then that's how they figure out
Okay,
what our rate for that event will be, based on how many people are on there.
okay, perfect.
So that people aren't just signing up and then not actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, by the end of the week, I want the press release out and the Eventbrite posted, and then everyone can start spreading the word. I've sent some emails out to some of our in-town groups, boys and girls, or no, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, some of the churches. We have a few people from the Sustainability Board and just verbally. So once we get that up, then we can actually start committing or having committed volunteers.
Did you take the part about calling the office out of the press release?
Yeah, it's out.
Yes,
That will
yeah.
not-
I
Perfect,
still need to
Michael.
tweak a few things. I had some stuff up until Sunday of this week. So this is my focus now this week, so I apologize that I'm a little behind.
You're not really.
Well, I want to get it out as soon as possible. And then for the tree distribution, they will all be at Baldwin's. We're gonna,
The 100
yep, go ahead.
trees,
Yep.
you know, that are going out to individuals.
And we're gonna try and cap that to one
Yeah,
per
yeah.
family, yep, so we can spread the love. There's a code or QR code that they will fill out, just name and address, and that will be their proof of pickup, so sort of like the coupon idea. And what that will end up doing is Arbor Day Foundation will use all those addresses to put this beautiful map together to see where all the trees went, which is way cool, I think. So there's a little bit of finessing about how that will work and time frame for that QR code, because we want to give them, I think, the full week. We hope people come out on that Saturday to pick up the majority of them, but if people extend through the week, we want them to be able to do that. We're going to reserve a few trees for volunteers, as a thank you. We cut the time down a little bit. We don't think we're gonna need the full, I think it was like 6 or 8 hours that we had planned. I think we're thinking closer to noon to be done with planting if we have the volunteer support. And then, we're thinking about reaching out to Sam's to have like a post party there, our post wrap up there. We'll ask everyone to still come back to Rotary Park to check in, let us know that everything went okay. But then,
Kind of tell their story.
yeah, get some feedback,
idea.
get some, comments. They would like at least 3 to 5 volunteer, just recaps their stories, testimonies, that's a really, that's good. And I would like to, if we can, get more than that, I think that would be great. So that would be part of that as well. We'll meet at Rotary Park first thing, and someone's gonna do the demo. We'll point volunteers to the website. There's lots of videos and resources that they can look at ahead of time if they want to. We'll have a little packet that will go home with the distribution trees or distributed trees on how to plant, how to care for your tree, what to expect over the first 7 years. Cool.
Thanks,
I think Denise,
so much.
Yeah,
I think
Sarah.
Denise said they put together a little bottle of the fertilizer for
Oh,
each
cool,
tree.
that's awesome. Okay, I should call her and just connect with what,
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited about it. It'll be great. So a few things that maybe should be run by the whole Parks Board I'll send your way or just keep you guys in the loop this week, but.
Will you
We'll have
tell us,
another meeting.
Yeah, for
will you
sure.
tell us how we can help too, if there's yeah.
Yeah, I think right now, just letting people know that it's happening since nothing is posted yet. So if you have friends or family or groups that you guys know that would be interested in helping, so we can just start rallying.
And we
the
thought,
volunteers.
we should have, 2 of us,
15th?
Oh, that's a good point,
the
right now.
Sustainability Board and Parks Board, at each planting site, we'll have first aid kits and, just kind of watching, making sure that people are, because they're gonna have to, put the tree in the hole, put the dirt in, cage it,
Mulch.
stake it, cage
Yeah.
it, whatever. So, we just wanna have some people there, monitoring and helping if needed. If we don't have enough volunteers, which I don't imagine we won't, but, just so, there's some city representatives at each location, and you don't have to do it all, with public works people. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
We
planning on
recognize
none of my staff's gonna be there except me.
exactly, it's
I
a
won't-
Saturday,
I won't-
we understand that, so,
How many holes do you think you won't be able to get dug?
Well, I'm not sure yet.
Are you good with a shovel, Russ?
Oh.
That's what I'm wondering. How
You're gonna
many
be really-
volunteers and how many shovels are we gonna have?
All right, bingo.
Yeah.
And we're thinking there will be 4 locations. Those locations might include 3 different sites, but in a general area.
So
for,
Roosevelt, right, is that what you mean, Finn Park,
yeah,
coal miners
Yep.
and Rotary?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where all the trees are going, right, the public trees, and then you guys are gonna plant some spruce trees?
Yeah, I'm not,
On
we
that?
haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
They're kind of monsters.
So where are they going at coal miners?
I'm not sure right now.
Because just
I think-
FYI, there's coal everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
So
no, they're not
Things
going up.
don't live there.
They're more, I think, gonna be from that row of trees that's along the east side of the ball fields,
Along the road.
along the road.
Side of both fields, okay.
And then that'll continue down, they stop there, and then they'll continue that row, and then I think along whatever's that Second Street.
Before you turn to go to the high school, there's that stretch of road
There.
there.
Okay.
So,
And then
not
ours time.
in the park proper, probably.
Yeah.
Because they did dig some test holes up there, they looked at it and they said, yeah, trees aren't gonna grow.
Yeah, we have somebody that wanted to do some, family tree, dedication trees up by the field, and
Yeah.
it's no, nothing's gonna grow in this.
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah, so if you dig a hole and it's all black down 5 inches,
Well, we're not gonna
fill
plant
it in,
one that
right?
dies.
Yeah.
Our goal is to keep them alive. so.
Yeah, of course.
Natalie, can I have the floor for 2 more minutes?
Yeah.
I was up at the dog park the other day, and there are Christmas lights on some of the trees inside the park and on the railing
Mhm.
for the entrance. And I don't know, it's not my favorite thing ever, but, I don't know how people feel about that.
I don't know who put them up.
It's not like a ton, it's just in this one area, there's probably 4 or 5 trees that just have them winding
Mhm.
up. Some of them are blinky,
Party.
it's not like, yeah, it was
Coming on-
probably,
They're coming on.
Solar or batteries?
I don't know, I
Yeah.
think must be solar,
Mhm.
I guess, yeah. So I don't know, I mean, is that something that we discourage? Do we care?
Yeah, I think generally that would be kind of littering and taking advantage of the space, of public space.
Yeah.
Well, then what happens is those trees grow, because I know this from my
Yeah.
own house,
Yeah.
and then you can't get the lights out of them.
I'll
And they're there when you
I'll-
sell your
I'll-
house to
I'll
someone
go
else.
and look at them.
Should I take them down?
Willie.
Willie's gonna do
Oh,
it.
okay,
Willie,
okay.
that's
Oh,
right.
Billy.
I'm just gonna put it in Willie's,
He's just the
Willie will
best,
handle it.
Willie's just the best, so is Mike, I'm learning too.
Willie will take care of it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh, you had mentioned that we're supposed to sign up for something we're supposed to be members of something for the Arbor Day.
Oh, yeah, it's free the first year,
Has anyone done that?
but
Signed
I
up
think
for-
we have to do something.
Like the city
With
has to,
Arbor Day
I
or,
think so, yeah, with Arbor Day.
I feel like we must have already,
yeah, I feel like that's a
Really?
thing that
because
we
we've worked
do.
with them, yeah, I mean, we've had Arbor Day before.
I'm looking at that
Yeah,
flag on the
yeah.
wall.
Usually the mayor declares what Arbor Day is, because it
no,
has changed through
It's,
time.
There's some other,
it's a 3-year of ACT membership, is
Yeah.
what. Wait, I can look into it for.
Okay.
But that used to be one of the requirements,
Yeah.
was to have the declaration by the mayor that there is an Arbor Day.
We do
right,
need to
that's
do that.
happening, it's just,
I think he already
all
did that.
kinds of resources and stuff.
When he
Yeah,
responded to the, accept the grant.
Oh,
Good.
Well,
Yeah,
and
and
he's
it's-
supposed
and
to
he'll
be
speak on
speaking
that.
on the 15th, initially, after
Sorry.
opening thing, right?
Have you guys asked him to do that? Remind me.
I believe so, Roger told me he was,
Okay,
so I
okay.
assumed that they've discussed it, but I will circle back to confirm for sure.
Did you indicate that there's still some question of whether you're gonna get the money? Monies?
Oh, no, it's coming, I was hoping it gets here by the time we gotta pay all of this.
From Arbor Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it'll be
Weigh in on
close.
that in the email?
Yeah, she said that, she said we could do a ACH transfer, and I talked to Lonnie, and Lonnie said, she didn't wanna do that, so we're just gonna wait, and hope the check makes it here.
Okay.
And it kind of, it'll make it, or
Yeah.
it'll be close enough.
Okay.
And once I
Okay.
get here, I'm gonna pick up all the supplies,
Okay.
but I'm not getting those till a check.
Yeah, and thank you guys for doing that. They'll have everything needed, at each site as well, so.
That's great. Did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna go back to Mike.
Thank you, you guys,
Public
sorry.
Works Dir- No,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you for coming.
Thank you.
And,
I don't have budget update.
okay, So we'll put it on
It'll
June.
get emailed on Friday.
okay.
Madeline, thank
Okay.
you for putting time limits on each discussion.
Oh, that was
That was
my
Roger.
I just made up 10 minutes.
Did you have a chance to push the wood chips into that?
We haven't done that yet.
Okay.
No.
But it's on their list.
Yeah.
Someday.
I can't
It
believe
will
wait for
happen.
spring, but I realize it's
I know,
spring,
they're all-
I can't wait
they're
for
all-
spring in Red Lodge.
They are all
Yeah, late
soggy
last
and-
Thursday,
yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah.
But you're right, they're like all soggy
Supposed to snow
and.
tonight, I think.
In my,
So,
Okay.
I got to change my mentality where it's not spring work, it's just get it done.
Right, right.
I think you've been amazing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
2 short months here already.
Yeah, you've gotten so much
Just
done.
like on top of everything. And you know about everything, and it's not, it's like right there.
It's kinda like Willie's attitude, it's better to be busy, so.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So, Rod, you have the floor to talk about the Whistler dedication.
Okay, well, we have Teresa here tonight, so I might have to fall back on her for anything I mess up here. Okay, the, Whistler Observatory was dedicated on April 14th. It's the newest public facility for our parks. And the park it's in is in Van Dyke. It was a heavily attended event, there was probably, I thought 78, I think, I read 68 on some head count. And I counted 75, so there's a lot of people there, a lot of Parks people. So that was nice to see. There was music at the beginning from the Elena Hayden Trio.
Which was great.
Chris Cogswell gave the welcome speech, as there was nobody else available from the city to give that. Teresa presented the park in memorial for Ken Whistler, for his dedication to education and youth, and that continues to this day. And the observatory is a reflection of that. There were a number of speakers. Kurt Nell from the high school. He's the astronomy and physics teacher from there. He voiced strong support from the school and the education system there. He was adamantly supportive about it. The next speaker was Joanne Eder, who is an astronomer, and quite a noted astronomer if you don't know her. And she had a lot of fine things to say about everybody involved with it as well. Next speaker was Jeremy Battles with the Dark Skies Group, who was instrumental in putting this observatory together. And I have to say that the one thing that came out of everybody's mouths was what a rare thing it is to have an observatory like this in this small a town, and the asset that we have here being dark skies. So that was something everybody emphasized. The next speaker was Mark Moak, is that correct? And he is an astrophotographer, and I can't tell you what he had to say because I could not hear him. So,
It's like fly fishing.
pardon?
He said astrophotography, is like, fly fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a good speaker. He was a professor at, Rocky Mountain College.
Yeah. And there was 3 or 4 other presenters from the Whistler family, and honoring Ken and his dedication and what Teresa has done putting this observatory together. Thank you.
Thank you. It was very nice. I didn't stay for the whole thing, but it was very
Yeah,
nice.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, every time I turned around, I didn't even get to see everybody that was there.
You were busy.
Sorry.
It was, no.
Yeah, it was a great event. I'm glad everybody that showed up was there. Last thing was the ribbon cutting, and Joanne Eder did that, and Teresa dedicated one room to Joanne.
The operations room is now
Yep.
called Eater Ops.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And that was about it. Concluded, and people milled about happily. That's about it.
And Teresa, would you speak to, people wanting to use the observatory when they have
Oh,
company in
yeah.
town and?
We've actually had,
Kidding.
yeah, we've had a lot of, surprising, well, I shouldn't be surprised, but, we've been contacted twice by the chamber already because people from out of state have heard about the observatory and want to know if we're going to be open when they happen to be passing through with their families. And then I got a call from a couple people locally outside of the city, and even in the county, that they have a guest coming to their home and they want to see if they can bring them up there to do some stargazing while they have company. It's a nice thing to do.
It's
So
gonna be
public-
open, like have hours of operation
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
It is already open every Friday ahead of a new moon, or on a new moon, because it's less confusing for people to say, oh, when is it open? But they can look on the website, they can email Hero Steam Center to get on the notifications list. They can email the Hero Steam Center to ask if they can have it open. So, yeah, no, it's just, it's getting a lot of use already, and, the Catherine Wilhelm called up from fifth grade, her fifth grade classes, wanted to have them come up one night, but I think she sort of was asking the parents who'd be into that, and not a lot of parents want to bring their kids up on
At night,
yeah, late.
when it gets dark, yeah.
We'll have to figure out how to get the youngins up there.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Awesome. Yeah, very nice. Anything further?
I do not, unless Teresa has something that she wants to cover.
No, I just was, wondering if there's any questions about, the observatory or, any concerns, questions, comments.
I had someone ask me about open times and scheduling, so now I can look at the website.
Well, we did put the signs up.
Mhm.
I remember I asked you about the signage on each of the trailheads into the park. Those have gone up as a QR code. All anybody has to do is hold their phone up, takes them directly to the calendar.
Wow.
It shows when it's open, so.
Amazing.
But I still think we need a official park sign,
Yeah, Van Dyke Park
Yeah.
sign, yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe in the middle there between the two
Yeah.
trailheads.
Yeah, we have a lot of park signage that we need to
Yeah.
address at
There's
some
a
point.
lot of people that were not aware that that's actually part.
I know it, we just called it the loop
Yeah.
Yeah.
for, a long time.
It is
I
Van Dyke
joined
Park,
VRTA,
yeah.
and I was like, wait, that's a park? Oh, cool.
Well,
There's so many of them.
And like
Cedar Park over here.
some bandit out of
Creekside, what is it, City Lights Park?
You kept talking.
You guys know where that one is?
No.
On the golf course?
Finally did find.
It's like,
yeah.
it's like over here. I think it's right there, it's somewhere like right in the corner.
Yeah.
of the
What's it
golf course.
called?
City Lights Park?
City Lights Park.
Yeah.
That one I hadn't heard.
I
The
did
way
not know
end of
that.
Diamond Sea?
Way out there, yep.
Yeah, 'cause it connects to the
Is that part
trail
of
down
the
the
Yeah,
hospital,
Grand
right?
Hospital, yeah.
No,
Yep.
it's not part of Spires.
No.
No, it's before,
It's
if
looking down
the
over the
spires were to
hospital.
finish, it would be very close. It's
Yeah.
right there.
It's not developed, right?
No.
Not really.
It's part of that HUD or whatever.
Did not.
Yeah, there's some
Never
interesting
even
ones
heard
out
of it.
there, yeah.
Okay, so moving on, I have the floor for field usage and discussion. This is coal miners. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to announce is, we have a committee of people, we've selected a similar dedication type, I don't know that we're gonna use the word dedication, but Shelley's Field, will have an event up there on July 13th, Saturday. It's gonna be about an hour long, it'll be somewhat similar, there'll be some speakers to talk about Shelley, there'll be soccer to speak. I'd love to talk to you about your microphone setup, if we can find out
Looks
where you
good.
got that.
It was good.
And, there's light refreshments, and then, soccer is planning to put together some, games, informal games, like following that.
Great way to open it.
Yeah, and, we really wanted the field to get established and look nicer as the grass field, so it, and we need to kind of wait until it really looks nice, which is about July. Yeah, so anyway, we'll have, as long as that sits fine with everybody sitting here, that we're doing this, we're gonna start pushing out PR about it. So the chamber will send out information, and, it'll be on Facebook, and we'll probably do a news, come news story. So, anyway, that'll be sort of our last hurrah to kick it off. Right, so, on to other usage. So we can't find the MOU, if anybody does know where it is, and whether the school signed it. Courtney probably is the only one that knows the answer to this. So I'm gonna get together with you, Mike, following, but the high school has reached out to me. They would like to, do some fill regrading a little bit, but mostly fill to make the discus area that they created on the park without approval. It's not on school property. To make it nicer, they were planning to put some turf down, and they were gonna do some work, to fix the berm, to get it more established. Half of that berm is on park's property, half is on, their property, so we need to get back to him. I think he's trying to schedule that. It sounds fine. They're already on park space, but I did tell him, you know, it wasn't just enough to tell us that they're gonna do it. We need to kind of have a discussion with them and make sure that it's okay. And I did say, it'd be really great if it wasn't going on July 13th. Because we want it to look nice up there.
Right.
Sounds like they're just trying to improve it.
Who's the contact from
John
school?
Fitzgerald is the superintendent. The reason I bring up the MOU is because we have this battle, every spring where javelin, shot put, discus track people come up on top. So we moved the soccer field purposefully to get it out of the discus arc that they built during COVID. But the javelin, and I have Courtney's, you know, strings of emails and everything. The school was told under no circumstances can javelin be thrown up there. It's an open park. People can come up and hike, walk, push their strollers.
Well, they moved
baseball.
down to, now they're at the baseball field.
So they were given permission to use the baseball field, and as I told John Fitzgerald, you know, coming down, you know, as we move forward, baseball's building their program, and that may not,
Well,
be
there's
available to
there's
them.
sprinklers out there too,
Yeah.
and the kids just walk around and just randomly throw them in the ground as hard as they can, more than they throw them, so.
Yeah. So he told, so what happened was Roger got a call, which I just think it's so amazing that school coaches get people's names that are all new, and then they come around the back door and try to, oh, we just want to throw javelin up there, we won't bother soccer and everything. They've already been told no, but I think their MOU needs to flat out say it.
But
Like,
but right now, there's no tangible MOU to be found.
We should ask Lonnie if
yeah.
there's something,
yeah.
and Courtney.
But I do know that Courtney wrote it so that you can't do anything up there unless you're given permission to do it, because there's other user groups that built things up there in the park and they have first dibs. So, you know, baseball and softball has first dibs on the baseball fields. They're using it, everybody else is SOL. But, you know, javelin, it doesn't matter if the park's sitting empty with no activity going on the field. Javelin is not a sport you do in an open park, and it's not, it doesn't make sense there, it's dangerous, and they've been told no. So the coach was told no by Roger, and then I called John, I said, why are we doing this every spring, we're having these people, and he said, because they're trying to come in the door, but I told, you know, Adam, the athletic director needs to tell them no. So he's telling me that he knows that it's not allowed up there. And they can go to Doug Brown and do it, and they also now have these rubber, tipped things they can use.
Oh.
But not up there.
Okay.
They can use them on their new football field.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're user groups, BRTA's user group, it just doesn't.
You need to find a home for the javelins.
So when he gave me this presentation of, hey, we want to feed the berm, I said, well, here's a perfect opportunity to take down that soil that you put there without approval, level that area, and move over onto your school lease property, put some fencing in, and go east-west for your javelin activities, which would be on the side of, would be kind of on a hill, but they created this shortage of space for themselves. And, Courtney basically told them the same thing with emails, like you know, you were never, they shouldn't have moved that material up there. And, but he said, oh, no, it's so great. It keeps soccer balls in, and, you know, they always twist it, so it's good for us. But anyway, I have no bitterness against their track and field program. I think it's great. But it's not, they need to find a place to throw javelins. And I think if we could find the MOU and it's still in draft form, I think it needs to stay in there specifically that javelin has
I'll see
to.
if Lonnie can find it,
Yeah.
next week I'll reach out. It's been kind of, since you called me, and then I got a call that they were on baseball fields, and then,
They are on the baseball fields, and they were told by Courtney that they could use the baseball field.
well, we're gonna try and figure out it someplace else, 'cause that's not a great place either.
Okay.
Now with a sprinkler system.
No,
Oh, there,
Yeah.
I see the draft in the drive, but not the signed one. But if anyone
oh,
wants,
it's not
Oh,
signed?
you found it?
just the draft, if anyone wants to look at the
Yeah,
draft.
they just
can
asking
you
Lonnie.
email that to me?
And we also have the books right there in the hall too.
Okay. I think it's fine, and that's probably what's not there. Okay, so actually, I'm gone the rest of this week, but I'd like to tell John that maybe
Next week.
you and
probably.
I, and just go up there and he could show us what he wants to do, and then
No, it'll
make
be
sure it
like
works for you.
Tuesday, Wednesday sometime, be good.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. All right, that's the field usage. We did the update on the Arbor Day.
No, Wednesday's better,
Wednesday?
yeah.
Yeah, Tuesdays next week's a little rough, but.
I don't think he'll be up there more than a half an hour, but sometime during, okay.
Tuesday I'm whacked.
All right, so you're gonna contact John about the meeting.
Yep. Yeah, I think they might wanna know what their limitations might be for javelin before they spend a lot of money and improve that area. Personally. Okay, so now we just have citizen comment on any matters within the board jurisdiction. If anybody has anything based on what we talked about, yes.
On the Arbor Day project,
Mm-hmm.
has there been any arrangements made for people who have mobility challenges or handicapped to get trees?
Good question.
To, like, individuals,
Yeah,
so
so,
take them home.
yeah.
I'd be
Kinda like-
happy to help with that.
I'm sure we can figure something.
Yeah, no, that's
If someone gets on the list for wanting them, and then
Yeah.
we get them there and help them, assist them with.
All they have to say is, I'm picking up on behalf of.
Yeah. Yeah, if you know of somebody, I'll certainly jump in.
What's your name?
Pete Cretell.
Yeah.
So do we need to go back to the top of the agenda?
Okay, we need to, yes, thank you for reminding me, honey. Denzel, we need to approve the minutes,
Let's see, do we have any?
or discuss any comment changes to the minutes or anything.
We have 4 people here, so.
Yep. Sorry, I'm still looking for mine. Are there any comments, or,
I would have one comment, and I mentioned it to Roger, because we didn't get this meeting advertised properly, nor had the previous meetings been properly advertised. What I would suggest we do at the next meeting is approve those meeting minutes. Everybody go back and review what we've done in those 3 meetings that were not advertised. Advertise it, so the public has a chance to comment on anything that went on.
Yep.
And then proceed from there.
The past 3.
Yes.
Yeah, the city did have the previous meeting minutes in advance.
Yeah, and they just did not get advertised for whatever the reason. but they needed to be advertised so the public could.
So what is the process? So we get asked like 2 weeks ahead of time if we have anything we'd like to be put on the agenda by the chairman. What role do you get burdened with on it?
Just creating
The
the
minutes?
agenda and then sending to Lonnie to advertise. So
And
that,
then the minutes too, or? just-
No,
Yeah.
the minutes are posted after they're approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the
And-
the agenda is
They're posted on the website.
yeah.
the
So if we
agenda
approve
is
the
what,
minutes tonight, they get posted.
Right.
These will get
theoretically, I
posted
don't know
tonight.
if they've, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ball got dropped because Courtney left and she'd been posting the advertisements. So
So
that's,
who
that's no.
should post the advertisement?
Does, Lonnie said
Lonnie
she's
will
fine with it.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, you just have to get it to her in a
Or-
timely
Yeah.
manner,
We
so
just-
she has a
yeah.
chance to do
They
it.
have to, they have to be advertised 48 hours.
Usually the Friday before the meeting, or whatever.
Your
Yeah.
48 hours.
Yeah.
Your bylaws still say 48
Mhm.
hours, but it does
Yeah.
say that it's the third Wednesday of the month.
Our bylaws
It
are
does.
still.
Yeah,
pretty
we-
long.
So that's gotta be correct.
We need to correct that.
yeah. So I would like to see something on the agenda next time.
Maybe after Arbor Day, you know, we can do
Yeah.
some of this.
The admin
correct
cleanup
bylaws and, you
Yeah.
know.
Do you have any, were there any issues?
No,
No, just to,
Minutes.
just to be
it's just,
proper.
Yeah, I'm
it's just
glad
a
you noticed
formality.
that that
Yeah.
happened.
I mean,
That we
we
have
were
to-
still sorting through who's gonna be the chair and all that kind of stuff.
We
Yeah.
have to
Really.
follow it though.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
still need to
And we
follow
didn't
the
have a
rules.
meeting in January. Yeah,
Oh, we didn't?
we did not. Remember?
So,
Right.
just talking about process and then
February,
updating the
March.
bylaws.
Correct. The other thing is, I need to look at the bylaws again,
Yeah.
but I think it says in the bylaws that we're to meet the third
She
Wednesday.
just said that, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think, yeah, maybe we can, after Arbor Day is over, like maybe in the July meeting, we can
yeah,
get that
okay,
fixed.
gotcha.
Your council.
Would you be willing to get the bylaws and just spearhead a reading markup of it? And then, I mean, in other committees I've been on, it usually helps if somebody just looks at it and goes, well, that's wrong and that's wrong, mark them, and then we can
And vote on it,
solve it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Is
it
that,
doesn't have to be a whole drawn-out process,
No.
like, again.
Yeah,
It'd
we
be
would-
something that you would present to council as
Yep.
our rep, correct?
Once
Park
we-
Board would approve their own bylaws and then council approves.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Exactly,
then
yeah.
Okay.
council brings it to the.
Let us know
but
what
if
you
you
want.
redline
Yeah.
the things that are grossly erroneous,
I will do that.
or put a question mark next to it, and then we could look at it in July.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know what we're gonna talk about.
June's
in
gonna be
June,
busy, I think, with
but, yeah,
last minute Arbor Day.
Yeah.
maybe.
And the
yeah.
budget.
Mhm.
In budget.
Yeah, and I'm not actually gonna be here for June. But, okay, anything else? Thank you for bringing that, Pete.
Do we need to approve the minutes from April?
So if we approve them and get them posted, would that correct everything to that date? And then all we have to do is go back and do February and March?
I think so, yeah.
Well, we did approve those minutes
Yeah.
already,
Yeah,
it's
but-
just the agenda wasn't posted
The
prior to
agenda
the
wasn't
meeting.
posted.
Yeah.
We already approved all the past
So the
minutes.
agenda has to be out during the day on Monday
Yeah.
of a Wednesday meeting.
Yeah,
It's 48 hours.
48 hours
Yep.
in advance. Very soon.
I should have said something during comment, so, I'm sorry, Nick, you didn't get your call back from Russ because I got it instead.
Oh, that's right.
Purcell, is putting together an estimate, so if we see activity up there, we're gonna start putting down that pathway from the trail, so that's what's going on, I should have let you know that.
So that's gonna be weed-free.
It's the same material, the RTA uses, same methods. He doesn't even use weed mat anymore, because I said, what about the weed? He doesn't use it, because it makes no difference.
Well, we don't really get weeds popping up through the trail around at the coal miners. I mean, and that's the same mix that he uses on trail.
It'll be that night next week.
Yeah.
They already have in the park.
Okay, any comments, changes to the minutes from the April 3rd meeting?
I move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the April 3rd minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will get the June agenda to the city earlier next month. Sorry, everyone.
Oh,
Thanks
no,
for
I know.
being flexible.
Thank you for all
I
you
don't-
do,
I
man.
don't think, yeah, you do.
Yeah. We're volunteers.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone.
We try. We're not trying.
Thanks, everybody. Yes.
Yep, thank you.
Are we adjourned?
Oh, yeah,
I am,
I motion
I'm blown away that I
to,
remember that day.
Did you have
Yeah,
anybody
graphics on
that you're
there.
thinking of specifically that you wanna leave a name with us?
No, I just wanted to make sure that we
Hopper come in that
made
Okay.
accommodations for